It's Throwback Week. Can the Puffins throw it back to actually winning? Can the Bulldogs throw it back to scoring 40 points? Can the QPCs throw it back to... Well, no, we'll let them stay where they are. Let's find out. I hope I win, but it's going to take his team having some problems like last week, and it's going to take my team really putting some things together, including some guys who haven't.
Yeah. Hey, man, the season's over. I've given up, right?
What?
Welcome to the Chuck and Dave pod.
I'm Chuck.
I'm Dave.
Here's the pod.
Yeah, your source for all things make fantasy football great again. Pod or make fantasy great again. Fantasy football
league. Yeah, the MFFGA FFL. Apparently, the pod is commenting on itself.
Yeah, it is.
That's cool. That's somewhat ironic, I guess. Maybe I'm not sure. What you call that? Self-reflective? I don't know.
Yeah.
We are into double digits this week. Week 10.
Yeah, week 10.
It's coming.
And it's throwback week.
It is throwback week. Always a beloved week.
It is. Yeah, it's.
Although people never got their the list of all their potential throwback names.
Yeah, that kind of got thrown.
But we got a few that need a name still. I would assume the Fighting Fergals. Can we throw back to Sam getting Jefferson back? I like that. Let's all trade back to our team from last year. I think that'd be a great way to celebrate.
All just trade.
I can't see anyone that would have a problem with that. Well, I assume the Fergals are going to go with the Durban Giraffes. I think they've always. Do they even have a different name that they can use? Somewhere down here in the records, I wrote everybody's names.
Let me try to find that.
I'm not sure that they've been anyone other than Durban Giraffes, but maybe they have been. Here we go. Kara has been the Fighting Fergals and the Durban Giraffes, and that is it.
Yeah.
God can only go to the Bulldogs because he's been the Blue Golds and the Bulldogs, and then the Blue Golds again.
Yeah, that's true.
I did
give him a little bit of a last year. I threw him kind of a bone saying that he could if he wanted to. This is pre MFFGA FFL. Christ. But this is pre our league. Would be he was the Euler's Oilers.
The Euler's Oilers. Where did he get the Eulers from?
Well, he's a mathematician.
Is Euler a mathematician?
Yeah.
And he dug oil?
No, but they sound kind of similar. It's kind of a punny sounding name.
I like
Euler's
that name.
Oilers.
He should come up with creative names like that.
So yeah, that was a.
I would dig that as long as he used like the Oilers logo. I'd be down with that. Josh, of course, has gone with the Blue Shells Love Me.
Yep,
Throwing
classic.
Back to 2020.
Not a
when
great year for him, if I remember correctly.
He finished in 4th after being the 3rd seed, but he did have no, I don't know why that's bolded there. I don't know why it's bolded. Let's see what else we got. You just threw it back to McChicken Run. I guess I could have shown you. Yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah.
Jordan has a couple options. He's been Appalachian for 2 years now, but of course he was the Suck Stops here and the Buck Stops here for 3 years. We could go with my personal favorite of his ever, the Coeller Bears.
Ooh, that was a good one.
And then 2 of my least favorite names, Gronk Smash and Tyreek Hit Me.
Ooh, I like those. I don't know. Those are always fun.
Hey,
I get
Alex might not like this, but I'm not a
saying,
big fan of using the players' names. I don't know, but it's not
saying.
me. Obviously, I threw it back to the Polecats, hoping that helps me pull out some magic for 1 week.
Yeah.
And then Alex just has the Destroyers, which he threw back to as well. So,
I mean, yeah, we will see.
I like that you were giving everybody permission to do whatever they wanted last year, but not me, not the pigskin prognosticators.
The very first Fantasy Football League.
Yeah.
So,
although now that it has been my name in the past, I could have thrown back to it.
You could have thrown back to it now. Was it actually? Well, yeah, because it was your name for.
I did change it. And everybody was so upset. That was the big issue of the time, was Charlie's football team being named the Pigskin Prognosticators.
I don't know if it was everybody was upset.
It'd be like throwing back the Green Bay Packers to the Professional Football League.
I mean, yeah, there was definitely an argument about that for sure. For sure.
It's been a tamer throwback week so far.
Yeah.
With things, but since so many people haven't really done logos and stuff, we probably can't do much rating.
No rates. Although I will say, somebody will probably say, why is Dave's logo Spock? Well, if you were around back then, that was my logo when I was McChicken Run, because back then we just kind of did whatever we wanted to. We didn't necessarily
we didn't care if the music was good or bad. We just listened to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I originally put up a sad polecat, a crying polecat. But I was like, no, because we're throwing it back to the Polecats, and the Polecats were a proud team that won a lot. So we can't be sad. So I put the championship logo back up there. Yes, I did see that you put up a fresh blue shell.
Yeah, I saw that. I know Alex should get a kick out of. I'm sure Alex is going to get a kick out of Blue Shells Love Me.
It was a good name. I'm shocked. I feel like he had it longer, but I guess he only had it for 1 year.
Yeah, I think he held the logo though for a couple years. I feel like he changed his.
He kept it with Embrace the Suck, which he had for 2 years.
That's true, and that was odd.
Yeah.
But
interesting approach. It would have been like naming the Titans, but keeping the oil. He has his revenge tour. What is this revenge from finishing 6th?
Yeah, Josh. I mean,
from never winning. Whoops. We shall see. All right, well, let's take a look at week 9.
Yeah.
There's really no nail biters this time. Nothing really came down to Monday nights, even though Josh tried to drum it up thinking that Kara would get some whatever beastly score just because of luck, and Alex trying to convince us that White might, or was it Rashad White, right? Might go off for 30-some points. And
yeah, I think the Rashad White thing was definitely definitely hopeful. I thought there was a chance, maybe, that I did actually think that there was possibly a chance that it was going to be
the Fergals.
The Fergals might be able to squeeze out a win or something like that. I know it was a super long shot, but ooh, man, I am laggy right now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, good. I don't know. It's
revenge from never winning. All right. Let's see if you do it. We'll get to that. Well, where do you want to start with week 9?
Yeah, let's man, sorry, my computer is very behind right now. I am not on the right week. Okay, here we go. Why don't we start? We're talking about that right now. Let's do Blue Shells Love Me versus, well, technically it was
was the Jackals, but we'll call it Blue Shells Love Me.
Not the Jackals.
Or Phlegmoids, sorry, the Phlegmoids.
Phlegmoids versus the Fergals. Yeah, not quite a matchup that I think was as close as at least the projections had it.
No, it was definitely it was a step down for the Fergals from what they had most recently done. The wide receiver situation there, not good. Brown goes out injured. Hill, it's interesting. He has not bounced back to Tua levels, even with 2 weeks of having Tua back.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might come back eventually, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
I mean, before it was like if him and Tua are on the field, he's a 20. Like he's a lock for 20. And he's put up a 9 and an 8 here. So I have a hard time believing that it'll stay that way all the way through, but I'm not sure the Bills are going to be the bounce back.
No.
Or is it the Bills? No, they play the Rams this week. Maybe the Rams could do it then. Could be against the Rams. I was looking at the last week's matchup, yeah. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, defense didn't go well with her, but I kind of was, I think, a little critical last week of starting the Kansas City defense, but that would have required her to go into the waivers, and she's not going to do that. So
no, I think she did go into the waivers to get Kansas City, I believe.
At one point, just this last week, did she?
I think so. Because remember, we did make a big deal out of the fact
people last week were really high on the Chiefs defense against Tampa Bay, and I didn't know why, because Tampa Bay had been scoring a lot. But this was Josh's third underdog win of the year. That was only by 2 points that he was an underdog, but he was still an underdog. Over on his side, Jalen Hurts goes off for his best score of the year. Nope, second best score. He's got a 68 points combined the last 2 weeks. Jalen Hurts does. And pretty much everyone in the top part of his stuff just did their jobs to get him a nice solid 120.
Yeah.
Nothing spectacular. I think Washington's defense was trumpeted pretty well too, so to only get a 4 was probably.
I think he kind of got bailed out by Jalen Hurts. I mean,
Jalen Hurts and Dobbins really bailed him out for sure.
Really getting bailed out by Jalen Hurts and J.K. Dobbins. I mean, seriously. I mean, he picked a good lineup. I mean, his bench scored nothing. I will say.
I wrote a note here that he expertly ran the bench there.
I will say this is a coulda, shoulda, woulda game that if Kara would have put in the right lineup, I think we're having a different conversation right now.
79 points on the bench will do that.
Woo! I mean, some of it really wouldn't have helped. She just had a really good bench day.
Stroud wouldn't have helped. Chase Brown in over
AJ Brown.
Well, Chase Brown's a running back, but no, Chase Brown scored 24 points.
Oh, Chase Brown's.
So if he had been in instead of Jones or Jacobs, that's 12 extra points there. Adams over either of the receivers, but especially Brown. But she wouldn't have known that he was going to get injured.
No.
On that, but yeah, she's got options there with things, but yeah, nothing really spectacular here. 123 is just a solid day, and it'll probably, I don't know, 50% of the time usually get you a win, and it did this time. So
yep.
Unfortunately for Josh, his typical bad luck was replaced by a little bit of good luck there. Although I do believe he continued a pattern of kind of playing to his competition that I kind of talked about last week. When he plays a team that scores really high, he scores high too. And when he plays a team that scores low, he scores lower.
Oh.
Yeah, because Kara scored 111, he got 123, but Musk Oxen got 145, he got 133. Well, the White Lightning got 87, he only got 113. Well, Destroyers put up 155, he put up 131. So he's kind of got this pattern of, and then it shouldn't be any connection, but he's been kind of playing to the level of his competition.
Interesting.
going back to probably week 4 when he blew out the Muskoxen. But still, he's got a really good stretch going. He hasn't scored under 100 since week 1. His lowest score is only 113, and he's only been under 120 even once in that whole time. So he's putting up a lot of points. I believe he's 3rd in the points for column. No, 2nd, just barely. He's 4 points over you.
Yep.
But so he's doing really well in the points. I don't think his record completely accurately shows his stuff, but 5-4, not a bad record. He's right in there.
Yep. Well, let's be fair. If he would have put in the right guys, I mean,
that's true. If he had Kittle,
he'd be 9-0. He'd be 9-0.
Yeah, if he had just won each week, he would have won each week.
Yeah.
We know how that goes.
I can't tell if Alex is being like facetious when he talks about that, or if he's just trying to be jokey or something. But I think he's
based on how last year he seemed to really feel like things should have gone differently. I think he actually does think that he deserves to be 7
in first place with 7-2 because he forgot because he didn't put Kittle in because he just didn't. He decided
he had the team.
Yeah, if I
apparently in his book. If you had the points somewhere on your bench, you deserve the win.
If there was even a whiff or a sniff of the fact that you might have picked him up in the past, like if you thought about it briefly, if he
that week that Juwan Jennings got 46 points, I looked at him. I considered him.
You should have gotten him.
Well, I think we need to redo that and say I won.
Yeah, I think so.
No, and then the Fergals, meanwhile, drop all the way back to 6th again. Anytime they lose, they drop back to 6th because of their terrible points for column that they have going on there. But still, everybody in the top 6 is separated by one game. So
yeah.
All right.
Next one. Well, let's talk about the other one then. We'll do the Doge versus the Lightning.
Sure. This did not turn out to be the trouncing that I kind of predicted that it could have been. I was expecting a chance here at our largest margin of victory. Didn't even get the largest victory of the week.
Nope.
That went to you. 111 is the highest score that the AWOLs have gotten since week 5. It's the first time they've broken 100 since week 5, at least. 111 feels pretty good there, I would think. I don't know. Maybe he's at the point that you were, where a high score makes you feel worse at this point.
Usually.
Sure. He's not winning, but Burrow, ever since he got rid of Jackson, has really stepped up to show that he could handle it. At least this week he did. He outscored Jackson. Otherwise, he nobody really spectacular. Bass, his kicker, did very well, but defense.
Ramondre Stevenson,
It's questionable that he's running so many Browns players. When we talk about this whole, I'm going to do my best to win every week with who I have. I mean, I guess if you require yourself to just have Browns players.
Yeah. And still with 2 bench players, just completely nobody.
Yeah. He's got 2 empty benches and a guy on IR.
How much do you think it would cost for me to rent out one of his bench spots? I can use
so you have an extra place to hold on to?
Yeah, I'll just continually trade back and forth then.
Well, you just have him pick someone up and bench him there, and then you're like, I'll give you a 15-pounder for him. Thanks.
Yeah, there you go.
Meanwhile, Alex over here apparently learned that he should be starting everybody on the Ravens.
Yep.
But Flowers has been a tough one. You don't know when he's going to do it. 26 was an outrageous one for him. Before this, his highest was just 17. So I don't, I see why he wouldn't have started him.
The last time the Ravens scored 41 points was 2 weeks ago. He got 3.45.
Mm-hmm. And this was against Denver, who I make sense to not have started him. So it's just one of those times where somebody just gets big. With things. Obviously, we heard that Alex is very thankful that he is not forced to start Baker Mayfield anymore, because just getting 18 points would have definitely lost him the game. I considered floating in that 6th round pick again for Baker, being like, hey, you don't want him.
He just sits there.
I'd take a guy whose floor is 18.
Yeah, me too.
I will take that. He's just stashing them. I do wonder with the Prescott injury if Lamb's production is going to go down. I don't think Cooper Rush is quite Prescott levels. Henry keeps bailing him out, putting up big points. I tell you what, Henry may have been one of the picks of the year. Yeah. I was a little bit shy on him just because he'd been.
Well, he didn't do very well at the end of the year last year.
No. He did his pickup. Here's what shocked me. He picks up Pitts, right? And he's been known to do that. Pitts has been scoring well. He gets him, puts him in. The guy only puts up 1.5 points, but he's not immediately dropped.
That's pretty crazy.
So especially I don't know if there's
especially with a hamstring injury too. Mm-hmm. Like you think sure that's an immediate
family connection or something going on there that makes him feel like he owes Pitts a little bit nicer.
Some nepotism.
So I don't know, but yeah, he apparently felt that even with Kittle, because he dropped Dicker right away. Like Dicker was like an hour past 48 hours on the team. He's gone, and his response was, "I didn't need him anymore." Well, he doesn't need Pitts anymore.
Yeah,
he's got Kittle, but he still was nicer to him. So whenever Alex gets on, we're gonna have to ask him. What's the soft spot for Pitts here? You thinking that Kittle's gonna start underperforming?
I don't know.
Where are we going with that? But the win does keep the Destroyers in the number 1 spot, and they are now over 100. No, not quite, but they're basically 100 points more than the next person, like 90 or whatever, 88. It's a lot. They scored a lot more. And interestingly enough, they also are second in points against. They've only had 20 points less against them than the White Lightning. So the bookends are the two teams getting hit the hardest with things.
Well, and I'm third. Don't throw me out there.
Don't forget. I mean, you're like 50 points behind, but yeah.
I mean, it's still got
40 points behind. Yeah, you're third, but we're not talking about you right now.
That's true.
Alex has now set the record for the year with a 4-game win streak. He's the first one to do that. So everything's coming up roses for them. Meanwhile, the White Lightning are looking like they might be a candidate to get the lowest win total ever.
Man, that's kind of a sucky thing because it's just like if Jordan would have been playing either you or the Milwaukee Muskoxen.
He's had a couple weeks. He's had 2 other
shot at the Fergals.
He's had 2 other weeks where he scored well and could have won. Week 1 and week 5. Well, I guess week 1 and week 5 he could have won against several other people. And it sucks. Believe me. Believe you. We all know it. That sucks. But geez, the fact that he has to win 2 more games in order to just not tie the low record seems Herculean for him right now. Like, can he get the 3 wins? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just he has a bad team now because I mean, I guess he only shipped off Jackson. Diggs would have been injured regardless. He's not picking up guys.
Just because you trade away a guy, that's like Josh. He's like, well,
but he also has
the Packers traded away Preston. Spots. They're not trying to win.
He also has 2 empty bench spots and has made no waiver moves since these trades happened. He is not trying to get a better team.
Well, I mean, maybe he doesn't necessarily need to get the waiver spots. I don't know.
He's got the guys he needs.
There's a little cope in there. I don't know.
The current projection is that he will not win. Yahoo is saying he will lose out and go 1-13.
That'll be crazy. I mean, really though, that will end up being like the story is the fact that he basically traded it all away to get the championship, and he did.
Here's the thing. He would have lost Diggs anyway.
Yeah.
And if Burrow keeps playing big numbers most weeks, the trade will honestly have been negligible to him. The big thing will be that he just stopped trying to get any better with things, which I get. Sometimes it's been hard for me to get out of bed in the morning and look at my fantasy team. And I do that first thing every morning. I look at them to make sure they're there. Give them a little kiss before bed.
That's good.
All right, we've hammered that one down. Where do you want to go next?
I'll do the biggest blowout. Well, no, that was because this did not end up being the game of the week. Well, none of these became
None
the game
of them
of the
really
week.
ended up being the game of the week. Yeah, it was a big game. Oh, I like this. The Muskoxen have changed their logo, but they did not do a throwback.
Yeah, I like the logo though.
Technically, the
Solid logo.
Muskoxen is a throwback. It's a great logo.
It is technically a throwback.
He's like the Blue Goal, just repeating an oldie, but I do like it. I like the Milwaukee Muskoxen.
Yep.
So rough game for them though. Olave goes out for injury again, right? He's been knocked out twice now in the last couple of weeks, or I guess it was 4 weeks ago he got knocked out. This one seems a little bit more long term, perhaps because he's doubtful for this week. Breece Hall has been probably one of the biggest crash downs. The first 3 weeks, I was like, man, his combination of Breece Hall and whatever is just gonna like carry him through the year. But he's more often than not scoring under 10 right now.
Yep.
And it's interesting because apparently the Jets are trying to win and they're not really going after one of their best players.
Yep. Honestly, Sam, if I were you, before the trade deadline, I'd float a trade to Alex, give away Mark Andrews and the Baltimore defense. Just make Alex
let him be the Ravens.
The Ravens. The tight end and the defense. Gets on board and trades
those wouldn't be terrible. Those wouldn't be terrible players for him to have. I mean, Mark Andrews put up a stinker this week against Denver. But
I can never trust Mark Andrews. It's like, what are you?
He'd been doing very well. The Baltimore defense did very well against.
Yep.
They have not been great otherwise, though. But I think Alex would give some points up just for that, or give something up just for that. Josh Allen does good again. Aubrey comes through again. But, really it comes down to with Sam, do Allen and Cooks combine to put up like 40 points? If they do, he has a great week. If they don't, they're kind of bailing him out every week.
Yeah.
But he's just had troubles with like a couple guys every week lately underperforming for him. And he put up his lowest. What was it since? Did I write it down? Put up his lowest score in a while.
Yeah. It's been.
I guess. So you got to ride the Murray coaster.
Oh, geez. The Murray coaster. Yeah.
I tried to warn you last week.
I thought I'm like, and I mean, it was going to be, but I'm like, even though Chicago, like the thing is they put up 29 points. It's like he doesn't even do anything. Now, granted, I had James Conner, so it's like, okay, that probably wasn't necessarily a great idea.
It's so frustrating because like they're basically only running the ball, but their running quarterback is not running the ball either.
Yeah.
So he's just handing it off to some other guy to do all the work.
Yeah.
And it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. And I had him for a while and I understand that. So I went through that with him. You had London get taken off injured during the game too.
Right after his first touchdown, I was just like, come on.
At least he got some points.
Yes. And by
when I had Nakua get taken out, he had done nothing. So
that's true.
So you guys each had a wide receiver fall out. Of course, Barkley and Kamara, man, that running back room there.
Yeah. Kamara's back into Kamara form, which I'm curious now with how the coaching shift has happened. I'm kind of nervous.
I can't imagine that if the goal is for them to show that they have something, that they're going to go away from one of their best players.
Yeah, I'd hope not, but you never know.
Derek Carr is not the savior of the Saints.
No.
He had Kelsey put up a great game. Siebert kind of let you down a little bit. Put up his first kind of stinker of the whole year. Honestly.
And now he's questionable. So
how do you hurt your hip, man? How do you hurt his hip?
I know, right? So yeah, and then Connor played well for the.
I still feel like when you look at Austin Siebert's picture, he looks like a 30-year-old father who has like 4 kids just throwing things around him and screaming, and he's just looking at the camera like, how did I get here?
It's so true too. Like like that is almost a perfect explanation to what that is.
Like if they just put like a bowl of cereal dumped on his head, it would be
just a bathrobe.
Yeah.
A tattered robe.
I mean, that's why I heard his hip. He probably stepped on a Lego.
Yeah, he
did.
does.
So, but good for you to win. It's been a little bit since you'd been back in the 130 category.
Yeah, it felt good. It felt good, especially with the underperforming quarterback and
to have those two not great showings and still be able to put up those numbers, you would have been probably in the 150s with Drake London playing the whole time and a legitimate quarterback.
Yeah,
it had been since week 4 since you topped the 130s.
Mm-hmm.
But this does tie you with Alex as the most games of 130 or more. And it keeps you in second place, very close behind the second most points scored. So you're right on his heels, coming to a big clash this week.
Yeah.
Preview alert there. Meanwhile, the Muskoxen fall back to 5th. Just kind of middle of the pack there, but they're right in the mix of everything.
Yep.
Still as well.
All right. So we got to peel the Band-Aid off here. Sorry. It's the Blue Golds versus the Puffins.
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't one of the whole, like, I could have won, or, I mean, the only thing misfortunate that happened to me this time was
Hubbard might have.
Hubbard would have helped, but
DeAndre Hopkins, man. You put DeAndre Hopkins and Hubbard and you win the game.
I do, but who would have put Hopkins in?
Josh, I think you really need to change his record to 3 and
please.
I mean, seriously.
It's misleading.
Josh, it's so misleading. If he would have put those two guys in, he would have won.
I mean, I like that Hopkins scored really well, showing that he can do that now. I would not have put him in over Nakua still, though.
No, yeah.
I may have made him my flex instead of Montgomery.
I mean, you might be looking at D-Hop now from...
Well, D-Hop is playing the dreaded Broncos next week, so I'm going to keep him on the bench for that one. I don't think he's going to pull a Zay Flowers. When the Chiefs face a tough passing defense, they will just run it 1,000 times. So your dad's going to go off with Kareem Hunt next week.
The Cade Otton thing worked out again.
Cade Otton has been my best find this year. I mean, Stafford was fine. At this point, I will gladly take a quarterback. Give me 17 points.
What are your thoughts about dropping one of your other 2 tight ends that you have? Like, just you're rocking the 3 tight end.
Well, I mean, okay. Is somebody wanting Laporta right now?
No, but
I will take something for him. Somebody wants to trade me even like a 8th round pick for him. I'll give it to you. Hawkinson, he just came back this last week. I couldn't have him starting.
That's true.
My thought is that eventually Evans is going to come back and eat away Otton, and then hopefully Hawkinson at that point is kind of burning on the cylinders, and I can put him in. Yeah, Hubbard, I really just thought he wasn't going to do great because traditionally whenever Young is quarterbacking, he doesn't. So this is the first time he's actually done something, and honestly, the Saints have basically been melting down. So I don't know that he's a safe play yet. No. Maybe against the Giants. I don't know. It's tough. If Nakua hadn't been ejected, I get probably 15 more points. It's not enough, but
you do for all the talk about your team's starting to heat up. Bijan's starting to heat up finally.
Well, most of my guys have really. I mean, Williams had a real dud. I don't know how Williams put up an 8. It was his worst showing of the year by far.
Yeah, that won't
against the team that he should have been able to do well against, I feel like. So,
and my guess is if Devonta Smith can play, he's probably going to get quite a few yards because
he's been pretty
Brown will
probably put up the one stinker of the 0.9, but otherwise he's been a double-digit guy every week. He's kind of a must start for my team. Nakua, I think, is too. My team certainly could win, but when it started on Thursday night with Houston, giving me only 2 points, I was a little bit kind of like, it's gonna be that kind of week, isn't it? Especially because at the same game, Todd got 25 points from Wilson. I believe both Wilson and Mahomes put up their best games of the year.
Yeah, Mahomes for sure.
Yeah, Wilson did too. He topped. That's his highest ever, and Mahomes was his highest by like a few points, like by 5 points.
Yeah.
So. Just one of those times you just play someone who was better than you, and you just didn't have the power to stay up with them. Honestly, too, if Nakua plays longer, Cup's points probably go down.
Yes,
but I don't think it would have been enough still.
Yeah, and it was kind of a weak ejection. Now I know he did throw the punch, but I watched it and I'm like, that was barely.
From everything
anything.
I've heard, it was kind of just a bit ticky-tack with.
It
They
was
were
a
real into
little-
ejecting, though. They did eject a Packer, too.
No, they ejected Lions for a spear tackle. Yeah, that was actually legitimate. I would have.
No, that one for sure was a lot, but I think they ejected like 3 different
Gee.
players this last week.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that ejections come from New York.
Some do. I think that if they don't catch it, they do. They can eject if they look at it. But yeah, I think for sure this one was they saw it from New York.
Hopefully, he gets all fired up now and comes out. The Blue Gold stay tied in the top 3 position. They're in 3rd because their points scored are lower. The Polecats remain 2-7 now with a 4-game losing streak, which is only being held off by AWOL's 5-game losing streak from being worse. But it's if it wasn't over before, it's over. The scenario is that even if I win out, Josh, Sam, or Kara has to lose 4 of the remaining 5 games.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty tough.
That's not going to happen, especially because essentially anytime a 5-4 player plays a 6-3 player, they win. And then the next week when 2 tied teams play each other, obviously one loses. And that just, you guys keep riding your little carousel round and round.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it, and that's kind of
taking your turns. It's the script. It's
gotta
the script.
Got to keep the elites in power.
Absolutely, that's what it is. Me and Jordan, we're the only ones that see the truth.
It's true.
So that was 100%. Week 9. Let me see if I had any other notes here. Sometimes I write down all these things and then I forget to actually look at them. But I think I did touch everything that I was. Yeah, I think I touched on everything. I had a couple of thoughts here. This year feels like 2019 or 2020. So good for you for picking your 2020 team to be there. And what I mean by that is that in the last 3 years, we've kind of been a team where there's the absolute juggernauts and then the ones on the bottom who just have nothing. And we still have the nothings as far as wins, but we don't have any true juggernauts as far as wins go. So far, somebody could win out and make it 9 or whatever, but or 10 or whatever it would be at that point. But in 2019 and 2020, the top seed was only 9-5. And that's the last time that the top seed didn't have a double-digit win. Wow. And in 2020, 6th seed was 6-8. So there's only a 3-game difference between 1st and 6th. And even crazier, in 2019, the 6th seed was 7-7. There's only a 2-game difference between 1st and 6th. And it just kind of feels like we're heading in that direction. Where I think it's going to be very, very close between 1 and 6. Unless for some reason me or Jordan really starts upsetting the cart.
It's possible.
It is possible, but it kind of feels that way.
Yeah, that's true.
I also, because right now there's only 1 game difference between 1st and 6th. That'd be crazy if it ended up that way. Is there any scenario where all 6 of you could end up tied?
Man, that would be so weird. I'm sure there is, awesome. Or at least like you could put
everybody's 8-7. It would certainly have to have me and Jordan losing out, I would think. But be interesting. Speaking of upcoming schedules, for those who are in contention, you, sir, the QPCs, are in the catbird seat. You have the easiest remaining strength of schedule.
Me?
Combined record of only 19-26. 19-26 for you. The hardest strength of schedule left is the Fergals, who are facing a 25-20 set to the end.
Wow, that's
everyone else kind of falls directly in between that. The second easiest is the Flemoids. Then there's a little gap for the Blue Golds and the Muskox, and the Lambs are actually the second hardest remaining schedule.
I mean, it makes sense. He was pretty high up there.
So we will see what ends up happening. I mean, it ultimately comes down to who's playing me and Jordan. That's really the difference maker for things.
Man.
You looking at your schedule? You like what you see?
I'm looking at my schedule. I'm looking at my team right now because I was like, well, we're going to be starting to talk, so I need to start maybe being a little bit more committal about my starting lineup. But there's a lot of questions out there.
I agree. I mean, I've made some switches here and there after we do things too. Before we get into those, I guess let me pull it up here. The Pro Pick'ems. Bless you.
Excuse me.
Where are we at here? I'm still winning.
The Pro Pick'ems, huh?
I'm still winning. I did not get the most this week. Todd got the most, I believe, this week.
Oh, did he? I thought you did, actually.
Yep.
But...
Nope, he got 12. You got 11. I got 10.
Oh, I got 11.
Lemoy's got 9, and it appears that Jordan has tapped out on this one as well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But we're all pretty close still. I mean, the difference between me and Josh is 10, I guess, but it's only 3 between me and Todd, and then 3 more done to you. So it's pretty close, and there's a lot of games left. So
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
Man,
how about our league?
Seriously though, like I think I should be in first if I wouldn't.
Well, yeah, if you wouldn't have forgotten.
So I mean, like I think
you almost certainly.
Let's just say I'm really in first.
Yeah.
And,
you're 6 behind me, and you missed like what 8 games?
Probably 8, 9 games.
Let's say you would have gotten like 4 or 5 wins at least. So really, you should be like right on my tail.
Yeah. So let's just say that. Well,
we'll call it a day and say that. And honestly, Jordan, had he picked, he probably would have gone like 100%. So. How about our league pick 'em?
So yeah,
things aren't looking good there for me.
Yeah, you had another rough week. Josh has finally crawled himself out of the hole that he dug early in the season and is now tied for first with me, 19 and 17.
The Keller Bros.
And you're at 17 and 19. Alex is at 10 and 6. Yeah, now it's all like
really Jordan's low. Next. He's 11.
I don't know what Jordan is looking at. Somebody's. Oh, you're down there. So yeah, Jordan's next with 11 and 9. So yeah, pretty much. Kara went 1 and 3. You went 1 and 3. I went 2 and 2, and Josh got a perfect clean sweep for the first time this year. He did so.
And I had my second 1 and 3 in a row. In my last 4 weeks, I have gotten 6 right.
Yeah.
And 10 wrong. It's been.
I mean, technically, in the last 4 weeks, I've gotten 1, 2.
I feel worse.
I've gotten 6 right.
Because I have 2 0 and 4s, and I have 2 1 and 3s.
Yeah, but you do have a 4 and 0. Last week was a 4 and 0.
I do. It's gonna be 4 and 0 this week too.
Yeah, let's hope.
So let's start looking at it.
Yeah, definitely hate picking Kara. Was like we all picked Kara for some reason. Yeah, I convinced you. Sorry about that, Chuck. I apologize for.
Yeah, I did originally have Josh. I could have had a 2.
You did, but I did convince you that. I mean, it was close. I mean, I do think that out of all of the matchups, she had the best chance to win, even though it was very slight margin.
We did unanimously pick Alex.
We did unanimously.
Alex didn't even pick Alex, but we picked Alex.
And then we all thought you would come out.
I do want to say I appreciate the three votes for me on that one. I appreciate it. It gives me the will to go on. But to go on, we must.
Yep.
So week 10, throwback week.
Throwback week. Yeah.
Where are we starting?
Let's see.
We could start with the most lopsided affair.
The one.
The AWOL versus the muskoxen.
Ewalls versus Muskoxen. Yeah, that's lopsided for now.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
stay
be.
lopsided. He doesn't even have options.
That's
So we
true.
do have, this is the first time in a while we've had a significant number of teams on bye. We have 4 teams on bye. We have the Browns, the Packers, the Raiders, and the Seahawks,
Mm-hmm.
all of which have some players that have been regularly starting. So the
Mhm.
AWOLs are 1-8 versus the 5-4 Musk Oxen. Last time out, the Musk Oxen won 137-77. The AWOLs or the Musk Oxen have nobody on bye. They do have the Olave injury. The AWOLs have Reed, Njoku, and Chubb all on bye, which were starters, which is what's giving him an absolutely low prediction right now. But you look at his bench, what did he do?
Yeah.
He's only got 2 guys on his bench. So he could put in a Dunze over a Reed, and I guess he could put in Singletary for his flex.
Yeah.
He's going to have to go to the waivers, or is he going to just mail it in? Is he completely?
I assume he's not. I assume you can't start Singletary. Singletary, you may as well just leave a 0 in there because like Singletary is like high scoring. The last 3 weeks is like 4 points.
He is playing the Panthers though. What happened to him? I traded him over there. I traded him Singletary because he had the 14 and the 19.
Because I'm assuming there must be a running back they're going to because
Tyrone Tracy has taken over, I believe.
Yeah, Tyrone Tracy. So he is completely limited with. Yeah, he had.
But if he's going to get right, it's going to be against the Panthers here.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So here's
Tracy
my real
cleared.
Question, though. Will the AWOLs actually attempt to field the most competitive team they can, or will they do the classic losing Fergals towards the end and just leave some buys in?
No, I don't think he'll do that.
Too much dignity for that?
I mean, I just don't think. I know Jordan. He's not like
we
that.
know the uprising we'll have from Josh.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If he does, Josh appears to have fallen asleep. By the way.
Yeah, Josh is done.
We've talked about him much.
Sam came in and said throwback week, and then that was it.
Well, he did ask if he could have Jefferson back.
That's true.
I think he left after finding out that he would not.
He would not get Jefferson back.
When you look over here, I think regardless of what he's able to dish out of the waivers, I don't see the Musk Oxen losing.
Yeah.
His lineup isn't great right now. The Johnson one is going to be interesting because now he'll have been in Baltimore for over a week. Is he going to get a good bite of plays?
Yeah.
I don't know. And what would that do for Zay Flowers? So that's kind of, that'd be a risky play there. Hall has not been doing great. Shakir, I don't know why Shakir continues to be on his starting team. But he doesn't really have I feel like he should replace Johnson or Shakir with Samuel.
I think Debo needs to be in there.
Although
probably getting McCaffrey back this week. We'll get to it when we get to my matchup, but
Samuel still was scoring well last year, even with McCaffrey.
Yeah, but you have to
a bit up and down this year, but he's been injured a lot.
Yes, he has. He is still questionable.
So, I mean, he could try to ride Williams and see if he pulls some more magic out of his hat.
Yeah, against KC, I doubt it.
So I think Sam's in for a rough week. So, I mean, it's possible that this becomes an upset and Jordan puts in the right players and Sam underperforms. But I think the odds are much more in his favor to kind of to actually be lucky and have a rough week, but also win.
So are you thinking Sam?
I'm picking the Musk Oxen. Wouldn't be shocked if this game goes 95-81.
You know, yeah, that's true. Oh man,
you're gonna do it. You're gonna pick
Jordan.
him?
No, I kind of wish Jordan would have at least done some work a little ahead of time.
You can change your pick before tomorrow at 7.
Ramondre versus Chicago. Rashad versus San Francisco. Now, San Francisco has been notoriously not as good on defense. Joe Burrow versus Baltimore. I'm gonna just go dark horse here. Picking
You're in
Jordan.
the lead. You're in the lead.
I'm in the lead. I got a little wiggle room here.
You can risk. All right. You're taking the Appalachian White Lightning to end their 5-game losing streak. Buck that Yahoo AI. The Yahoo AI says it's not going to happen.
I know, but
they also have him starting this team the rest of the year. So.
All right, let's do the Durban Giraffes versus the Poning Polecats.
Oh, did they change it?
No, but I'm assuming that's what's going to happen.
All right, now this one's a little misleading projection because of a bye player in there too. But so we got the 2-7 Polecats versus the 5-4 Giraffes. Last time out, the Fergals were in their prime luck form, getting a win with 105 to 68 against the. That was a rough week. Rough week. It looks like AJ Brown should be good to go, which is unfortunate because that not only gives her AJ Brown, but it takes things away from Smith, who would have probably had a pretty high score should he have been alone. So this is hoping for a small, painless setback for AJ Brown. She's got to move Jacobs. I would assume she's going to put in Chase Brown.
You might. I could see you could also make an argument to move A-Chain up there, and then you got a little flex for McLaurin or Adams.
Could be. Adams he has had one good game.
Yeah, but I think what you're going to start seeing is, especially because now they they decided to what's his face is not on. Got put on IR. Allen.
Did he?
Yep, they put him on IR. So pretty much Aaron Rodgers has 2 wide receivers. And I think they traded Williams.
They traded Williams. Wait, so Lazard is on IR?
Lazard's on IR.
Dang.
So he has 2 wide receivers.
Okay.
So he's going to be throwing to a tight end, Devontae Adams or Garrett Wilson. So
it does seem like McLaurin has the higher floor, but I think Adams would be that would be a fine move to put I mean, really, H-N doesn't belong in a flex position. He belongs up in the running back positions there.
Well, and I mean, there's something to be said about maybe even not using AJ Brown.
Yeah, you could. I think Aaron Jones could get a lot of garbage time. I think that the Vikings could have that game in hand pretty quick and be using Aaron Jones a lot there. Although the Packers did not handle the Jaguars that fast.
Nope.
Jaden Daniels, she's got in there still. So I did just swap out to Sam Darnold. It didn't look like it was as good of a matchup for Stafford. He didn't wow me. Honestly, Darnold had his 1 3-point game that scared me a little bit, but he's restored his floor. His floor is basically the ceiling of what I've had this entire year.
Yeah.
For quarterback. So he's going against the Jaguars. I'm like, if there's anybody out there that can get me to 20 finally, it could be this one here. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully Nakua plays the whole game. I think Otten is still being undersold a little bit unless Evans is coming back this week, but I don't think he is.
No, I don't think so.
I think Otten will continue to do well against things there. I did put Hubbard in. Yeah, I pulled out because Montgomery's playing Houston. And I thought he'd have a bit of a harder time there. Montgomery can be scary when you're watching him during the game. He's got like no points. And then he finally goes off on a big run or takes a touchdown.
Yeah, he's their touchdown guy. So
yeah, he did not get a touchdown last week.
He did
Moore. I cannot trust Moore. I don't know. Maybe Dell. I should be trusting more.
I wouldn't. Honestly, I'd be careful with DJ Moore because of all the drama that's going on with him and Caleb Williams right now.
Yeah, they seem to not be having a good time.
Nope.
With each other. Dell's been doing all right, but I just look at my team and I feel really confident about it this week. I was real happy to get the Chargers defense against Tennessee. I just feel like it's a good looking team. So when she puts in presumably Brown, I think her projection is going to end up higher than mine. But I'm going to pick myself.
Nice. I figured you would.
Polecats will win again.
You know what? I'm also picking you. I rarely pick against my wife, but I really think that this is going to be your week.
I'm going to get a 179 so that Alex does not get the high score.
Whoa, that would be crazy. And then lose out, so you have this just like insignificant stat, and Alex.
If I would have played Kittle that week, I would have had 182.
Yeah, exactly.
He probably
All right, let's do the Blue Shells versus the Bulldogs.
Very tight projection right now. I think this is one that would make Josh very happy.
Good old projection erection right here.
Yep, this is the kind of thing that gets him salivating. We got 5 and 4 Blue Shells versus the 6 and 3 Blue Golds. This would be probably the game of the week, if not for the other one. In week 2, the Blue Shells scored 149 to the Blue Golds 83. So it was pretty big blowout last time. But the Blue Shells are hampered by buys with Bowers, Walker, Metcalf, and Higgins all out. And the Blue Golds are hurt a little bit by Dobbs and Kraft being out.
Yep.
Although I think Kraft wasn't great last week. He dropped a few passes, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Everybody did, I guess.
Yep.
On the Packers last week.
Now, he's been playing Dalton Kincaid anyways. I don't think he's been playing Kraft that much. So,
yeah, he definitely did Kincaid last week, so he didn't have to deal with that. I don't know. I don't see Patrick Mahomes putting up his top score again against Denver.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't think he's going to be in a shootout like he kind of was with the Buccaneers.
No, I don't think so.
Denver's offense isn't going to put up near as much of a
Plus,
test.
that's a divisional game. It's going to be a tougher one.
But I could see Kareem Hunt getting some crazy points because I think that he's going to be a guy they have to just run a lot.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, that was one of the best pickups of the year, I think, was him going for Hunt. I remember that, and I was like, everyone should just stay clear of the Kansas City backfield. Nobody knows what they're doing. And he
got it.
He got on it there. That's why I did make a question mark for him picking up Mac Hollins, who is projected to get 1.1 this week. He put him in for the waivers. He wanted that guy so bad, he put it in for him on Tuesday night.
1.12.
And was like, I need this guy.
He had 5 catches, 5 targets,
like
30
that's
yards.
Some pretty serious point chasing. And for what? For 12? Who did he drop for him?
Let's look.
He dropped Raheem Mostert.
I
mean, fine, he wasn't going to be using Mostert, but
no.
It's like what? Ian Hollins. But I can't dismiss your dad anymore because I've dismissed your dad too much on people, and then they go off and become an anchor on his team. So what's he seeing, Hollins?
I don't know. He must know something.
We need to have a permanent deal with your dad that any week he makes a waiver move, he comes on the show and explains it. Just like a little Todd's World segment. And he just popped in. If he needs to go to sleep, he could record something ahead of time and just we could play it. Him explaining why he did what he did. Maybe you could show him how to use a camcorder.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. Josh is definitely another one where when he played me, he was hampered by buys, and having the Giants out and all that stuff. I think there's another one where this one's going to be a tough one for Josh.
Well, he's got Tracy, who's got a great matchup against Carolina.
Malik Neighbors against Carolina. Yeah.
But Malik Neighbors has been a little cool of late.
He has been cool. I mean, he's been fairly cool.
Hurts has been on fire, and against Dallas, I don't think that's going to stop.
Yeah, so I think
against Tennessee will probably be fine.
Definitely quarterbacks. He's got the win on them. There might be something to be said that my dad has the wide receivers a little bit more. It leans a little
Wilson and
towards
Chase
him.
versus St. Brown and Neighbors, I think, should go towards Wilson and Chase because Chase is going against Baltimore, who's given up the most points. They're the anti-Broncos. And
And
Wilson seems to have
Wilson's-
gotten a pretty good connection
Yeah.
going. Although I think Wilson is still going to be a little volatile.
I think Amon-Ra St. Brown should do well, but you never know. It's at Houston, so
Yeah, he did fine in the rain at Lambeau. So
yeah.
yeah, when I look at this one, it is tough to make a pick.
Jonathan Taylor he's been a little flaky since the injury.
Yeah,
he only
it's
got
hard.
13. He only got 13 carries last week, which seems odd.
Gesicki is. I mean, I know that your brother defended him. He's a guy that I don't trust that much.
What, he's got nothing all year long, and he gets 25 points, and I don't even know the argument for that. That is pure point
he
chase.
made an argument because I posted about it on Discord, which you
And
don't
what did
seem
he
to
say?
follow anymore. I said
I follow it. It's because you guys talk though during work. I can't keep up.
This is a kid's show. I just said I love a good point chase in the morning, and he said there's a good chance that Higgins remains out, so Gesicki should become a big target.
Yeah, because T. Higgins is like, the cornerstone of the
Bengals.
of the Bengals offense, Josh. T.
Also,
Higgins, the guy who gets like 4 targets a game.
Higgins
will be out. That's
he's got
fine,
14 targets in the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Does he not look like Alex?
Who?
Mike Gesicki. If you gave Alex the right haircut and he was kind of squinting.
You hope that Gesicki gets more targets, Josh. You don't know that for sure.
Oh, did
He
just
had
come
more
back?
targets. He had more targets 2 weeks ago, and he scored less than half the points. So, more targets.
I mean, there wasn't much for him to do. Perhaps you could offer a trade to Alex for Kyle Pitts.
Although they are playing Baltimore, I get it. The anti-Denver.
Yeah, the anti-Denver.
And we have to. You basically treat tight ends like.
I think you should.
Trends, man. Trends. Yeah.
Trends,
Prove me
man.
wrong, I guess.
So I look at this and it's hard. I think the Blue Golds look a little bit better, but this year tells me that the 5-4 team will beat the 6-3 team. So it's hard. I picked against Josh last week, and I shouldn't have. But I'm gonna pick against him again this week, and I'm gonna take the Blue Golds.
I'm Blue Golds all the way here. I will say Josh will probably
your sources. I meant to do a full analysis of how your sources did in that 1 week with me.
My sources tell me
they were not the best. I don't know if you ever watched the one. We talked about your sources a week or two ago. Yeah. And I find that when you're doing well and you have good players, your sources seem to be better. And when you don't have as good of players, your sources seem to be not as good. Not just you, like just in general. Yeah. I had great sources the last 2 years. I'm using the same sources this year, and I'm 2-7.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who this mysterious source is. It's probably Rich, honestly.
I'm sure it's Rich.
We will know for sure if he wins the consolation, or if he comes in like 5th place or right in the middle. We'll know for a fact his source was Rich.
5th is what he wants. Rich was the master of the consolation bracket. I kind of missed the consolation bracket.
Yeah, sometimes
I only miss Rich getting 5th place
all the time.
Bracket. I don't really miss anything else about the consolation bracket. But.
I will say, yeah, my sources are good on average, but there are definitely ups and downs. Josh, you realize you just defined what average is? It's what ups and downs are. Things are good on average, but there are ups and downs.
Yeah. I've been trying a lot of different sources, but when you have so many guys that are basically tied for like 15th and 25th, it just becomes coin flips.
I mean,
which is why I no longer coach my team.
It's true.
And I will be now living up to my chief strategist, Samuel J. Williamson.
That's great. That's great.
All right, we got one matchup left. The matchup of the week, I believe. Game of the week.
Game of the week. Well, I mean, technically, I think the previous game is closest.
It might not be the closest projection, but it's the two heavyweights. We have the top two seeds against each other, and I think that always becomes the game of the week when you got.
This would be the Fox. This would be the Fox.
This would have been flexed on Sunday night for sure.
It could be either Sunday night now, or it could be 3:15.
Could be. It's unfortunate there is no Monday night games for Alex.
So we will know.
He does have you don't have any Monday night games either.
Nope, we will know on Sunday.
Sunday nights we have. He's got
Monday
one,
night.
2. He's got 2 on Sunday night.
Yep.
You don't have any Sunday night. You'll be done by the afternoon game on Sunday.
I know. Sunday, that means
we need to tune in to watch Alex. We need a live stream of Alex watching Joe Mixon and Nico Collins.
Yeah. Just a live stream on him.
Make it happen. He said he'd be cool with it. All right. So for you two, we've got the 6-3 top seeded, whatever the name is, the Destroyers versus the 6-3 second seeded McChicken Run. Potential championship forecast here, although last year our top 2 seeds ended up meeting in the 3rd place game instead. We got some buys, but not too many. You've got Love on buy, and he's got Tillman on buy.
Yep.
I did write a long reason to caution you about using Murray.
I am looking into a different quarterback. I will say for that for sure. Jets. I don't trust Murray versus the Jets. Especially the Jets seem like they're somewhat confident right now. Now that could come crashing down to earth, but Arizona's not also like an amazing team. So
he seems very confident. He popped him up there right away with putting Collins back in. He's technically still on IR, but it sounds like he's going to play. There's always a little bit of, when a guy first comes back from an injury, is he going to be at full strength, especially when he comes back that fast? And they're playing Detroit. No, they're playing New England, I guess. Wait, are they playing New England? What the heck here? Oh, yeah, he is playing Detroit. Okay, Detroit, I guess, gives up a lot of points to receivers.
Apparently.
It could become, my guess is that Detroit will put up a lot of points, and Houston will need to be throwing the ball.
Well, and that's what could also be happening with Detroit's defense is the fact that you put up a lot of points to wide receivers. Why? Because you get so far ahead that there's a ton of garbage time points.
And I thought, I think even though the Packers lost, they should be very proud of the fact that they held probably the top offense right now to just 17 points.
That is true.
And they really only gave up 1 score in the whole second half.
Yep.
So they had that. Actually, they really should have won that game if they would have just maybe not been so sloppy.
Yep.
So maybe we could talk to Roger Goodell about giving them that win since they really should have won it.
I think CeeDee Lamb is a dangerous pick. But you can't drop him because you never know.
No, you got to keep him going.
Kind of his 2 wide receivers are questionable.
A little bit of question marky there, absolutely.
Yep. Zay Flowers, he's deciding to go full Baltimore full steam ahead.
Who's he got? He's still got Pitts. I'm not sure why, but he's still got Pitts. He did pick up Mooney this week, and he is like famous at this point for picking up a player just to not use them. Like, not like I just got him off the waivers on Wednesday morning, but like I'll pick him up a day later or whatever, several hours later, and then not use him. But he's obviously looking at Mooney's production the last couple of weeks have been pretty solid, and he's going against the pretty weak Saints right now. So maybe, but I don't know who he'd replace him with. Would he replace Flowers with him? Is it just in case Collins ends up having a setback? That's probably
that might be it.
That's probably what he's thinking.
But I mean, he could putz around with maybe putting Tony Pollard into flex and moving Zay Flowers up to Collins.
Yeah, but the Chargers have been a tough game to run against.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you've got you haven't taken McConkey for a spin, have you?
No McConkey.
I don't know that this is the week to do it.
No,
against Tennessee.
So I'm pretty confident. Obviously, quarterback needs. The big question for me is: does McCaffrey play?
Yep.
He is designated to return. He's technically.
And will he play at McCaffrey levels in the first game?
Yeah, but I assume if he's playing,
you can't keep him on the bench.
He's going to get points.
Yeah,
he's not going to be sitting there playing.
But who would you remove? Not Barkley or Kamara. It'd have to be Connor, right?
It'd be Connor. I mean, I had some questionable. It's kind of questionable whether I would want to play him against the Jets anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty tough matchup.
That's true.
But yeah, I would
probably if you can put McCaffrey in, you'd gain a couple of points. You'd gain 5 projection
Arizona
points. So now we're suddenly, and you get
top of their division. I agree, Josh. They are top of their division, but they've been trending downward. That's the problem. Arizona's the top of their division because they won a bunch of games.
The Rams and 49ers are about to start winning a lot.
Yeah, Rams are starting to jack up. 49ers, once they get McCaffrey, will start to pump up. So the reason why is the division sucks.
Yeah, they've been pretty mid-level. So when I look at this, there's a couple more question marks on the Destroyer side. Plus, I just want him to lose, so I'm going to pick the QPCs.
I will also pick myself, but that's only because I do think if I can get McCaffrey back, I think I would lock it up.
I don't think that this game is going to set the year record for the highest points, though.
No, I think he thinks it is.
He's hoping it does, I think. But I don't, man, get top in 308, having each of you average over 150 would be, that's a lot. That's a lot. That game required him to get a 178 in order to top it over.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked, though, if the Muskox and AWOLs are in line to play for the lowest total points. He only got to get less than 173. While our lowest one, the combination of it is lower than our highest single score. That's interesting. The Fergles are involved in 2 of the 3 lowest scoring games.
Wow.
And the Lambs were involved in all 3 of the 3 highest scoring games.
Yep.
I thought it was very interesting that Jordan actually was part of the highest scoring game.
Yeah.
But
he had one good game.
Part of why he doesn't have 2 wins is because he happened to have Alex on that.
He
put up 178, which is terrible. Yep. All right, so we've got our picks in.
Yep.
For week 1.
Yeah, I think it'll
hopefully I think some of the games are going to be close. I think that you and Alex will be a bit back and forth as the projections kind of go around and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we have potential for some really close games. I think Sam could have a bad enough week that he ends up making this game pretty close, depending on what Jordan does. I think that all 4 of these games could end up being pretty close.
Could you
naturally imagine at least one of them is going to be a bit of a blowout?
Could you imagine if Jordan wins, my dad wins, and you win, and it brings all those 5 and 4 teams just
5 and 5
down to 5 and 5. Like, and there's this.
I mean, that's the best case scenario for me, I guess. It puts them all only 4 games away or 3 games away.
Yeah.
At that point. Yeah, the problem, there's just too many problems. If Kara would have lost more while she was exceedingly lucky, I would have a chance here, but she won through there, and I think her team's too good now to lose. All these teams are too good to lose for the remaining 5 games.
You never know.
things. But I got to get to 6 wins. That's my thing still. I mean, I know at this point I need to only lose one more game in order to do that, but I really want to get to 6 wins. And I'd really like to pass Todd again in points scored. And if I could, I'd like to pass Sam. I would like to finish 5th in points for. I would like to be the best looking 7th seed team to ever cross.
Officially, I don't know if you've recently looked at current projections, but they finally started giving Alex some love.
Yeah, they have him tied for first.
Yeah.
Which would be first.
Yeah, because he'll have most points. Then obviously me, and then Josh and Kara. They have you winning 2 more games.
Yeah, just 2 more they're giving me. They do have Todd and Sam sliding quite a bit here at the end. Only 1 more win for Todd, they're thinking. Dang.
That seems odd.
That doesn't seem likely.
No.
What's our power rankings? Your top's the power rankings.
Yeah, still.
I'm higher than Todd. So according to this power rankings, they think I have a good shot at passing him for points scored.
Yeah.
Like
for the rest of the season. Yeah, it should be
for those of you that haven't, make sure you get your throwback in there before the games start on Thursday. It looks like the Thursday night game has a good handful of players that will be going in it, I think.
Yep.
Trying to think what is Baltimore, Cincinnati. Yep, that'll be a game that'll have quite a few going on. I think, if I remember correctly, is next week I think goes back down to like only a couple buys, and then after that, Buymageddon is coming up. The one where there's 6 teams is coming up. I think it's week 12.
Okay,
possibly.
Yeah, week 12. I think you're right. Is the big one.
The biggie.
Buymageddon.
All right.
Yep. Just popped in very late. Alex. Yeah. Now you can turn her off and rewind.
Watch it from the beginning.
Good to see you. By the way, we all picked against you.
Mm-hmm.
We think your team is garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of posers, and you've been getting very, very lucky.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are sick. Your team is sick.
Your team is in a sick place.
Yeah, your team is just completely destitute.
You're too sick to show up on time, but you're not too sick to load your dog up in the car and drive to McDonald's.
You missed it, but
we think you should be trading.
Chuck and I broke down your players and we're like completely flabbergasted at how 124 is even close to your projected. We're thinking closer to 86.
I think that's more realistic.
And that's a more realistic score. So yeah. Did you get sick off of that McDonald's you ate earlier? So
you're gonna be lucky to hang with Jordan the rest of the year.
And by the way, ordering a QPC when you're playing the QPCs, I wasn't gonna say anything.
That's risky.
It was risky.
That's
supporting
risky.
My brand. Now, technically, I'm McChicken Run this week, so you got.
That's why I'm not eating any giraffe this week. I'm taking off.
Yeah, taking off the giraffe, and I know that's a pretty big staple in your diet.
It's hard. I mean, because you get one giraffe, it feeds you for months.
Yeah, months.
Just that
years
neck
sometimes
alone, really.
Just the neck steaks.
I like to just cook that neck and like leave it on the table. You can just have a whole feast with people. It's all kind of taken there.
Oh.
And with that, good luck to everybody except Kara.
Sorry, Alex. Good luck to everybody but you.
Have a great week. Enjoy Throwback.
Yep.